What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, alongside my co-host,
Mikey Fever.
and this is a New Yorker's perspective. Let's throw that intro up. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Thanks to Clip for that beat, man. That intro beat, man, is official. It's official. Today, we're going to talk about the basic tenets of Moorish science. What is it? What is Moorish science? And in regards to how the prophet taught it, because
Right.
I was talking to someone the other day, and then they were talking about um, you know, brothers coming to the cipher and they be talking about goddess, and I'm like, hold on, the Moorish science, they don't teach goddess. They don't teach goddess. That's nowhere in the circle seven, the 101. That's nowhere in the literature. I've never seen goddess in anything but what people produce later on in the 2000s. Their
Yes.
own writings.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to talk about Moorish science. Okay, let's start with this.
Yes.
When let's say I'm new to this,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to learn about Moorish science, and then they say go to the temple, and I go to the temple. Now, from
Right.
you being a grand sheik of a temple, what
Yeah.
is the first thing a new member should do?
All right. First thing, well, they're coming to the temple. The first thing they should do is prepare themselves psychologically, prepare themselves mentally. What I mean by that is you have to accept, um, you have to be willing to accept a perspective and an understanding of some things that you previously never had or that might challenge your previous understandings. You see what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
the whole empty your cup thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm,
It's and this is a part of the learning process period with anything.
exactly.
You go into any new school of thought or you go to any new endeavor, you have to go there with an empty cup. You see what I'm saying? You have to go with an empty cup. One of the biggest uh, hindrances and stumbling blocks for prospective members of the Moorish Science of America or new members is not coming in with an empty cup. As a matter of fact, because of the YouTube age and social media age, they come in thinking they already know. And you
Exactly.
can't give anything to someone who thinks they already have it.
Mm.
Yeah.
You see? You can't,
Mm-hmm.
and you block yourself when you come into a new school that way.
Mm.
You block yourself. You see, you're not open, so you can't receive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up, and then follow me, because you walk in believing you already know. Then you're not, you blocked yourself because of that, because there's no space for you to receive anything. Now you're disappointed and you blame the disappointment on the organization.
Organization. That's a
Mm-hmm.
fact.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Instead of opening, now I will say this, right? But I want to add this, and then I want to go back to the original question. It's just like in martial arts. Yes, a student or prospective student must demonstrate loyalty, must demonstrate fidelity, must demonstrate perseverance, must demonstrate um, the willingness to study and practice and train. But that must be balanced by the teacher's ability. The teacher has to know. The teacher has to be skilled in what they know, and the teacher has to have the ability to efficiently and effectively impart that to the student. If that balance isn't there, you're going to have issues.
Mm,
You see, you're going to have issues. We've all seen situations where sometimes a student does better in spite of bad teaching. But more often than not, the process is aborted because of that. Just like you can have great teaching in a poor student, the process is aborted.
That's
You
true.
see? Yeah. Now back to the original question, right? First, acceptance in the heart. Yes, you know what? This is something new. And when I can admit that to myself, then I can be inwardly humble and say, you know what? I'm probably gonna hear a whole bunch of things that not gonna gel with me initially. But I need to have the patience and let it sit with me a while so I can begin to absorb and I can begin to look deeper. You see what I'm saying? This is important. Okay. Now I want to add this. You're not entering a see, we think a school of thought these days, we think lazily. We're trained to think lazy. I saw this gentleman was talking about this, about the education system in the West. He says, no, it's not an education system. The school system in the West, unfortunately, now trains people to be laborers.
Exactly.
It's not education. It's not education. See that? It trains people to be laborers. That's what it does, right? So we today think a school of learning is an information buffet, is a data buffet. I can just go and get this piece of info and get that piece of info, and this piece of info vibes with me, and I like that. And that piece of info, nah, I don't need that. That's what we think it is, and that's not what it is, right? Of a school, right? A field of learning is a state of mind. You literally have to learn a state of mind. You have to begin to absorb a way of thinking. That's not brainwashing. Because think about it. We're Asiatics, quote unquote, black people. We're Asiatics in America, right? Where the pervading social narrative is European, Euro-Christian. So what do we have to do? We all know code switch. So when people start talking about, oh, religion is indoctrination, nah. First of all, don't sell yourself short. Don't dumb yourself down. Secondly, you don't have that excuse because you code switch every day, which means what? You're carrying two ways of thinking, at least.
Exactly.
See that?
That's true.
But don't you code switch?
A way of thinking. Go ahead, brother.
Don't you code switch when you go deep into the hood?
Don't you? Lingo changes, posture changes, attitude changes, everything.
The mindset, yeah.
Right.
I think it's adaptive to the environment. As you said, code switch adaptive to the environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Second nature.
So you're learning a school of thought. You're learning a type of a psychological language. I'll use that term, which is why, right? You could just like, okay, I could be skilled on the block, and I could be equally skilled in the boardroom. Get it? But it takes time to learn both, doesn't it? You got to immerse yourself. There's the key word. It's not just information or data. You have to immerse yourself into the gnosis of that school.
Hands on.
Yes. To the point where you got to be able to speak the language. Right?
Right.
That's a big part of it. You know, and every profession has this. In the legal profession, there's a language of art. In plumbing and in electricians guilds, there's a language of art. It's a common language that they speak relative to their trade. Carpentry, same thing, right? And in schools of thought, let's take Nation of Gods and Earth, Moorish Science, Symbol of America, even the Nation of Islam, because the language of art, even though very closely related, the language of art of the Nation of Gods and Earth isn't the same as the Nation of Islam, is it?
No.
Right. Right. See? See? And you can, even if somebody, now watch this, even if somebody is coming, is they're saying the lessons, but you know, even though they're speaking the lessons, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same with us, same with the Moorish Science, same with America. You have to immerse yourself into the gnosis. That is what you have to learn. And that's not easy to even verbalize, much less teach.
Now look, I'm gonna say this, right? This
Yeah.
is this sidebar. This is just my own thing. I still like to have my own self-style wisdom when I'm even among the Moors. So like
Yes.
I don't like to say like I don't like to say all the sayings. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I like to say peace when I come in and then peace when I leave. And
Mm-hmm.
then that's the tradition, right? I mean, sorry, Islam when
Islam
you come in
and then
and then
peace.
peace
Yeah.
when you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's what I do. But you know, when they say praise Allah and then all that, I just don't. Is that okay? Is that do you just because we're speaking in reference to you can tell if
Okay.
someone
That's a
is in
great, no, listen, I like that. That's a great question. See, when we're talking about immersion into a way of thinking, into a school of thinking, right? The language of art is an expression of your level of immersion. You caught that?
yeah,
And in that, it's not everybody's a drone and a robot thinking, no, there's room for self-expression. There's room for self-style wisdom. Get it?
mhm, yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like in martial arts. What martial arts style do you train?
Kali,
Kali. Okay. You're
Kali and
not a
kickbox.
Kali. But watch this. You're not a Kali fighter because there's no such thing.
No,
Mhm.
You're a Ron Brown LMT fighter
yeah,
that expresses himself through that training. Get it?
right.
Mhm.
So let's say Mikey was our guru in Kali. He taught you and he taught me exactly the same material. We're still going to express different.
Right.
Am I
Mhm.
right?
For sure.
But it'll still be Kali. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Get
For
it?
sure.
That's deep.
Same thing.
That's
Same
real right
thing.
there.
Right.
Same thing.
Right.
See?
So now you spoke of opening up the heart, you know what I mean, and like being an empty cup.
Yes.
Okay. Now, once you get that, like, and understand that that has to happen, what
Yes.
is the next step? So the way
Next,
just
before we even go even any further, there's one last thing we add to that. When you can do that, open the heart and realize, okay, I'm entering a school of thought, a way of thinking. The deeper esoteric schools call a way of thinking, watch this, a temple,
Exactly.
not a physical edifice.
Mhm.
The edifice is what you're putting your mind into. Get it?
Yeah.
It's a framework. Now, the next
Egregore.
step is recognizing that this takes time.
Exactly.
It takes time to immerse yourself into a way of thinking. So you
Mhm.
have to allow yourself that. Learn to love the process. Do not have lust for the end result because you don't know what the end result looks like. You won't know until you get there. So you
Hmm.
learn to love the process. I'll give you an example, right? My parent temple, temple number 11, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right? Very
Mhm.
spiritual people, very spiritual people. I mean, extremely so in this movement. They don't sing songs during the services at all.
Mhm.
See that? Other temples do. Temple number 11 doesn't. Me coming from my background, the song thing was too churchy for me. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, oh yeah, good. We don't sing these songs, right? But then later, and so that was my state of mind for a long time. And then in my studies, right? In my studies, I'm like, wow, what are we studying? Chapter 1. So this kind of bleeds into what you were going to ask me next, brother Ron. Chapter 1, creation and fall of man. That's a cosmology. That's a Moorish American cosmology that describes reality as we see it. Man is what? Not the body of the soul. Man's spirit and part of Allah, right? But man has a soul and a body of flesh,
Mhm.
right? Man became a living soul. And what are the functions of soul? Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, memory, feeling. These are soul functions. How are some of the most easy and effective ways to influence or modulate our soul? Music.
Sound.
Ta-da.
Rhythm.
Right.
Everything.
Then I was like, wait a minute. Then I went back to old Negro spirituals in the church. Oh, no. We didn't get those from the European. That was our contribution to quote unquote Negro Christianity. See?
That's a fact, Reef. Because even the harp,
that's a fact.
The organ of the harp,
right?
It plays in the chakras, and that's a fact.
It is spiritual technology. Once I was able to see that and then experience it, I'm like, wow. Now I have a much greater appreciation for that demonstration. See? A much greater appreciation for it. You know? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So
sir.
now after you're open and so my experience was I had to sit in on a meeting for a certain amount of times. I had to sit in. I think I had to sit in for like three meetings, 3 Sunday schools, and then man, I was trying to remember the brother's name. He's out of Temple 21. He introduced me to Clark Ill. You know this brother.
But
he's
an old Ill?
C. Ferguson Ill. C. Ferguson Ill.
That's right.
Now, C. Ferguson Ill's the one who said, after he saw me the third time, he said, I can introduce you to Clark Ill. And that's when he introduced me to Clark Ill. So you have to sit in. Now, is that required for every temple for you to sit in a certain amount of times before?
No, it's not standard. That's not standard. That's not standard. No. Each temple has customs, specific customs. As long as they don't violate the principles of the movement and the organization of the teachings of Prophet Drew Ali. So that's not like a standardized, you gotta do X amount of meetings and no, that's not standardized. During the time of the Prophet, watch this. During the time of Prophet Drew Ali's contemporary, when he was on the physical plane, the temple was open 7 days a week. From, you hear what I said? Not having meetings. The temple was open. The secretary was there from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. So that at any time from 12 to 7, any day of the week, you could go and join the organization.
That's deep.
That's how it was in 1927, 1928.
Got you.
Okay.
So now, after you come into the temple and you proclaim your nationality. Now
Stop. Stop.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you said that. Remember, proclaim means to make known. Okay. What are we making known? Our nationality. Is nationality identity? No. Is it related to identity? Yes. Okay. National identity is one thing. Acting the part, living the part, knowing how to do those things is something else. Get it? So nationality is a quality or character that you have to live out. That's proclaiming. You can't proclaim something you don't know. So a lot of people get this confused, and not just outside the organization, but inside the organization. You know, they believe, oh, well, I proclaimed and da 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 da. What they're really saying is they joined the temple. Get it? That's why the wording in Act 6 words the way it does. It says, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. It says all members must proclaim their nationality. Then it says, and we are teaching our people their nationality. What are we teaching them? A quality of life. A quality of life. Not some bits of information. That's part of it. But it's a quality of life that we're teaching. See? And that takes time. You know, it takes time. It takes time.
Now, when you speak of quality of life, meaning change the quality of your life through the mind.
Period. Especially in the mind. Especially starting there. Starting there. Think about it like this.
That's that big center.
If one would serve Allah, this is one of the instructions we're given. And I want you to really examine your own heart when I name these 4 things. Examine your heart and be honest with yourself as to where you are on this scale. If man would serve Allah, just serve your near of kin. That's easy. Those who are of no kin. Uh-oh. The stranger at your gate. Huh? The foe that seeks to do you harm. Come on, man. Yeah, see? You see the increasing levels of difficulty? Especially those last 2. The stranger at your gate and the foe that seeks to do you harm. Come on, you know how we think.
Forgiveness.
You know how we think.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. See?
Yeah, everything you're saying, Reef, I'm not gonna even go too deep, but you said a lot of things in the beginning.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say for those who know, what they ask, will a brother ever be lost? You're like, no, a brother cannot be lost because he's always stayed within the confines of blank and blank. You already know where I'm going from.
You already know. That's right, bro.
Yeah, but it's deep right there. You can never,
Yes.
once, as you said, you express yourself through the lessons that you have, but people do get
Here we go.
conflated, thinking they need books and stuff to make them smart. Nah, you got to operate within the bounds.
We have a saying, Mikey, and you'll appreciate this, in the Moorish Science of America, in our literature, it says, establish unto thyself principles of action and see that thou ever act according to them.
Exactly. Lead by example.
Yo. Now think about it. Let's be real. Let's be real about ourselves, people. Let's be honest with ourselves. I'm talking about our people. Right? You got criminal syndicates from other nations that won't do business with our people because we're untrustworthy, even to ourselves. We don't establish principles of action. And if we do, we don't act according to those principles. Get it? Now, Marcus Garvey said it. The propensity of the Negro is to disregard orders coming from himself.
We don't.
Right.
We don't even honor ourselves, man. No honor.
Ain't that something?
It's true.
See? So if we can establish principles and then act according, now we can be trusted, even amongst ourselves. And then others will observe that and then trust us. See? This is Moorish science. This is Moorish science. Do you think our forefathers could have, and mothers could have fed the world and established old world European civilization and ran it for nearly 800 years without being able to be trustworthy? Exactly.
So, yo, we were just saying that last show. The unity, when we, like Ron was saying, we haven't tried unity. We so focused on being divisive that we don't even know how to work with one another.
Absolutely.
Because, differences in opinion and indoctrination, doctrine and such and such. So,
Brother Mikey, to that point, it's so pervasive in the present day that is the description of behavior that everyone in the world expects of us.
Right? Of course.
Right? Course. Like CP time?
Oh, yeah.
So when it happens, nobody's even surprised. Matter of fact, they go, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They
That's
give you a pass. See that?
That's why when I make it my business to be on time for everything. And when I see other people around me, like in the world that I'm a part of, like fitness and massage therapy, and I see other people who look like me,
right,
coming late and lollygagging, I look like, come on, y'all, man. Y'all need to do a little bit better than that. You
Because
know,
and you see other people around just go, because they expect it.
just like they expect us to have nasty attitudes and be angry and all that.
Yes. Okay.
That's a
Exactly.
given.
Exactly. Exactly. You
You
see?
don't give them that reaction. They in total awe. Like, really? You're not gonna respond? I expect you to react that way, not
Or
respond.
they'll
The
ask
key
you,
word react.
or if it happens 2 or 3 times and you're around them enough, they'll ask you where you're from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it throws them off.
Mm-hmm. They're like, you got to be a foreigner.
They go, at my job. Are you from? Where are you from? Where you from New York?
Told you. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Ain't that something?
yeah, because they used
So
to
that's
reaction,
what
not
we're
response.
changing, bro. This is
Hmm.
what we're changing. That's Moorish science. That's Moorish science. We're changing, or we're working to change the narrative on ourselves by changing ourselves.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's it. And it's not respectability politics for anybody even thinks that. It's not respectability politics. We're not going along to get along with other people. No, we're demonstrating. I was just talking to one of my students yesterday. They were complaining about hard times, right? And about, oh, well, and they were basically like, you can't judge me because I did this, this, and this, and it was hard. I had hard times. And I'm like, yo, I get it. I understand. But
Hmm.
if you sacrifice your principles and your dignity because it's hard times, just know that you chose to do that.
Right.
You chose to do that. You said, hey, man, it's hard, so I got to go. I got to do what I got to do. You did that. That was a decision that you made.
Hmm.
The hard times didn't do that for you. And so I was watching.
Your mic.
I told him about this. You guys there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Sorry. I told him about this story in the or this picture I saw, right? And it was an abandoned building in the Bronx from like the 70s, right? And right off top, I'm like, oh man, somebody's living in there. It was an abandoned building. You can see the open face brick and all that stuff. So right off
Mm.
top, you're like, oh man, you know how it was back in the 70s in the Bronx in certain areas.
Hmm.
But then when you look closer, there's a table. It's probably something they pulled off the street. It's a table in the middle of the floor. It's chairs around the table. There's a bicycle propped up on the wall. There's a picture on the other wall. And then you pay attention, the table's clean. The floor is clean. You know what that whole picture told me? Yes, somebody's living there. Yeah, they're in destitute conditions, but they displayed so much dignity.
Mm-hmm.
It almost brought tears to my eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because it was just that level of strength. They were like in the worst of conditions.
That
And they
resilience.
made it home.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Hmm.
There you go. We
Now,
can
Didn't Biggie
still
Small says
demonstrate.
that?
We say it again.
Didn't Biggie say, yo, no matter if you're doing bad, don't look bad, no matter how
There
hard
you
it
go.
gets? Yeah.
Right. Prophet Dwali told us, he said, out of the worst, the wise can find the means for good.
Yeah. Don't look like this struggle.
There, bro, that is, now you want to talk about strength? That's strength, right?
Yeah.
Me going and snatching a purse because I'm doing bad, that's not strength. See? That's not strength. Me remembering my own dignity, even in the worst of conditions, that's strength.
Mm-hmm.
See? That's strength. Bro, Brother Ron, you're a fighter too, right?
Mhm.
One of the most intimidating things is that when you let one go, bang, right? And you may have seen the damage, you may see the knot, you may knock a tooth out, and they smile at
Or keep coming.
you. That's a problem, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem because you know it hurt. They know it hurt them. They just didn't mind that it hurt.
Exactly.
See that?
It will.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, and let me say this. In a number of areas in our history, in present America, our people have demonstrated that kind of strength, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Oh,
We
Yeah,
found
we've
beauty in
demonstrated that
everything.
type of strength.
Of course, man.
That's why you've got, think about it. You know, you've got civil unrest contingency plans aimed at our communities. Why? Because it's been expected since the J. Edgar Hoover day that things are going to get so crazy that the Negroes are going to revolt, go crazy. We're going to have to smash, right? Well, you know, as a strategist, right, you never do what the adversary thinks you're going to do. That's why the Prophet Drew Ali said, the fallen Asiatic sons and daughters of North America need to learn to what? Love instead of hate.
now that right there is just, I don't know if he knew how deep that was.
Mm.
Did he know? Did he know how deep that was? Like,
Yeah, I think he did.
you gotta learn how to love instead of hate. Do you understand how this is? Y'all, a lot of brothers and sisters out here going over here with the history and doing so much with the teachers. But let's get that one down right there.
That one down. That one. That one. Bro.
Powerful within itself,
That
man.
Yeah,
Complete.
because, bro, that's the last thing anybody would expect from us. And that's why it's going to win. That's why. That's why it's going to win. Because that's the
Love
last
like
thing
it,
they
yeah.
expected, bro.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
Now, that's beautiful. Now, once you, after proclaiming the nationality, you went over that.
Right.
Now, I get my fez, I get my button, I get my dues card.
Right.
You know, and I'm paying. What was I paying back in the day? Oh, you got 50 cents weekly,
Monthly.
50 cents monthly.
Yep.
Okay, 50 cents monthly. And
But
then
why do we have membership? Why do we have membership dues?
because the prophet said a begging nation, something about you can't rise. I
Right.
forgot what he said.
I know what you're saying.
Finance takes finance to raise a nation.
Now let's be real. 50 cents a month in 1928. If we were to bring that up to speed for 2024, you know what that is? About $6 a month. What you doing with $6 a month? All right. So there's got to be another purpose. See? There's got to be another purpose for that small amount charged per member. You know what it is?
What's that?
We are learning to be useful. We're learning to have skin in the game. We're learning to be a part of something and what it takes to be a part of something. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Makes sense.
And let's keep our people were so bad off in terms of the ability to organize and unify. That removes all the excuses. You can't pay $6 a month. You can't pay 50 cents a month. you ain't no good to yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're not useful to yourself. At least be able to do that. It's a place to start. Right? And here, and then here, watch this. You're paying 50 cents a month. You're paying $6 a month. Nothing. But you're paying. So what does it do for you in here? Well, I belong and I got to say. Get it?
I got it. Oh wow.
What's one of our biggest issues in the American system today? We're disenfranchised. We don't believe we have a say, even though we pay our taxes, because we don't understand how to interact with our government. Get it? You go to common council meetings, right? You see the old Italian lady barking her head off at the common council because of the potholes in front of her house. And we're thinking she's being trivial and she's just old. Nah, she understands that her tax dollar is already prepaid for the service. She's following her money. She is doing what? How the prophet said it? Taking her place in the affairs of men. There you go. That's what we're learning. See? Yeah.
That's peace right there. That's real right there. That's government right there.
Now exactly. Now after now I just want to say that there's a Moorish American prayer, and Moors don't pray 5 times a day like Muslims. I want to say that. So what's the okay, so I'm correct on that. All right. So yeah. So the Moorish American prayer, you're standing up and saying the Moorish American prayer, which is around here somewhere.
Yep.
And you probably know it.
He knows it already. He memorized it.
Of course.
Read just the walk in circle 7, man.
But here's okay. When it comes to the topic of prayer, what is the most common thing people are doing 95% of the time when they pray? What is it? Just
repeating.
Nah, I'm talking about people in general. What are people doing when they pray? 95% of the time.
Oh, they close their eyes.
What else? No, that's what. Okay, yeah, they're doing that.
Kneeling.
When they pray, what does their prayer consist of? Almost 95% of the time.
Forgiveness.
They're asking God for something. Moorish American prayer don't ask for nothing. You know what it is? It's an affirmation.
Right.
It expresses gratitude for already having the thing. And you already know what that does, right? That's near magical, because when you express gratitude for having a thing, your nervous system doesn't know the difference. And it responds as if you have it. See?
Got you.
Right.
So now going to so now Fridays is what and Sundays is what? So now I know Sundays is public meetings.
Both are public meetings.
Both are public meetings.
Yes.
Friday meetings open at 7:30
p.m. for us. Yep.
7:30 to 9:30.
Yes.
And then Sunday open 2
p.m.
to 4.
Yes.
2 to 4.
Yes.
Now Sunday school is mainly for children, am I right?
No. Everybody.
And yes. Friday is it's the same thing for everybody.
Right. So Friday is a worship service. Sunday is more of a study session.
Oh, that's why when I used to go to 21, they would sing a lot on Friday.
Yes.
Well, 21's in Brooklyn, Ron?
Yep.
Sure.
I attended that one in 2011. 2011, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to that one. Quite a few meetings in there. There were a lot of singing. I was like, oh, wow, this is different. You know
yeah. Now, so Friday, Sunday, and dues, we went over that. What else is important to learn as a Moorish American?
Practicing the principles. And so the membership, obviously, right, are following or studying the same principles. So you begin to practice them with membership first. You see? You practice with, and I'm talking basic, like we mentioned before. Our people are accustomed to exuding a bad attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're accustomed to. See what I'm saying? So with members, we begin, okay, no bad attitudes, right? Cheerful disposition. You see? Treat each other as if, like, I'll give you an example. Say, when man looks into the face of man, he sees, right, the face of Allah who speaks within. So we begin to practice seeing Allah in each other and then acting accordingly. See? It's a living practice. That's the science. It's how we treat each other. You see? Yeah.
Got you.
And you begin to practice it. And of course, when you practice it and people around you are practicing, guess what? It feels good. That encourages you to do it more. That encourages it to do with people in your circle that are not in the temple. See? And then 3 months of that, 6 months of that, what do they say? You different. What's going on with you? Right? And the difference they don't deem unpleasant, right? There you go. So now this behavior begins to change your outside conditions.
So now where's the misunderstanding come from? Because people come into this and like I get it, like I understand what it's there to do.
Right.
Now, but you just kind of hit the nail on the head though. I don't even gotta ask. They're not practicing. They're not practicing. That means like I like how Shank 7 he gets up, he posts on Facebook the Moorish American prayer
Every morning.
Now now going through your day, how should it be practiced? I mean, just like treating other people the right way. Are you reading the Circle 7? How do you keep yourself focused and motivated to stay on that path?
Bro, it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood. We lean on each other. Because come on, listen, we're still who we are, right? We're still who we are. So, but what are we doing? Sincerely trying to change ourselves. But we're still who we are, right? So it's a process. We become patient with each other and patient with ourselves. Exactly. And like I'll give you an example. My assistant Francis, right? He'll call any given time just to say just so you can say the prayer with him. Just so you can say the prayer with him, And it'll be like just the prayer, and then he'll hang out. He say, "All right, I'll talk to you later." Boom. And then an hour later, 2 hours later, a day later, he'd be like, "Yo, bro, you saved me from knocking somebody's block clean off. I needed that. Thank you." So we lean on each other that way. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's real.
Yep. And we definitely need that. I don't know where it comes from, but well, from the way I kind of came up is like, I feel like I can do everything on my own.
Right.
But I'm learning that it's not how it goes.
It's not. Nationality is not an individual thing. It's a group dynamic. That's why we say it's the foundation of mankind. It's the foundation of humanity. Because humanity is a social unit.
Exactly.
None of the things that we enjoy in the bands of society could we enjoy by ourselves.
Got to share with somebody. So it's most important.
Yeah.
Cycle that energy, basically.
There you go. That's why, again, Moorish science, nationality, the quality or character that arises out of a fact the person belongs to a nation or a state. In other words, if you and I all three of us have the same common ancestry and the same American experience, it just makes sense that we would bind together, lean on each other, work collectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get the bag without violating our principles.
Right. Without being a savage in the pursuit of happiness.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So this would be considered the divine side of the movement. People like to say that divine,
like divine and national.
Yeah,
I don't believe that. I used to say that. I don't believe that.
It's all intertwined, right?
It has to be. If you had a divine and national side of you, then you'd be dead. Because they're integrated.
Yo, I like how you put that right there. Got him.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
It's deep, man.
Yeah, you'd be dead.
Yeah, so leaning on each other, that's where the unity comes from. Now is that a practice that the Branch Temple 34, is that the name now? Branch Temple 34, is that something that Branch Temple 34 has come up with, or is it something that the temple already had?
That is the instruction. Now, human weakness is human weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So either you're practicing the instructions or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, again, training martial arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you had classmates in your colleague class, this is what the three main purposes of the group class. One, so the instructor can correct old material. Two, the instructor can give you new material when you're ready. And three, for all the students to see who has not been practicing.
Exactly. That makes sense.
Yeah.
We weed out the weak ones, the bad ones.
Or you encourage them to step their game up. Because if they don't step their game up, they can't stand with you. They can't sit next to you. They're going to stick out. See? Yeah.
Real. Got you, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, this podcast right here helped me out a lot.
It helping everyone out, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to learn about Nation of Gods and Earth, learn more about the Moors. Although I read up on it, but you get different perspectives now.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying this podcast with Sharif in particular.
Oh yeah.
This one right here is teaching me that I gotta be more social.
Yes. No. Listen, we all do, bro. Because what you said about the whole, man, I can do it. That's part of the Negro problem. That's one of the biggest parts of the Negro problem. Every Negro for himself.
You know where that comes from, Reef? It comes from experience in life and what we hear. Like, as they say, how a man should be. Handle it on your own. Figure it out. As Ron said, I was the same way growing up. At 14, I was like, yo, figure it out. You're your own man. Figure it out.
Right.
And you bump your head into the wall constantly. And you're like, well, I'm making the same mistakes. And then, you move on to the next.
But now, hold on.
Experience.
Organization was terrorized out of our forefathers. And is continuously terrorized in many ways out of us today. From the black codes to vagrancy laws, right down to RICO today.
RICO, COINTELPRO, all that.
You see what I'm saying?
You know what? I'm gonna give it to hip hop too. Hip hop gives you this like mentality where it's like you gotta be that nigga.
Yeah.
But now let me share something with you. To that point, right? Last night, I was in Lower East Side for the Great God. Shout out to the Great God. right? Shout out
Shout
to
out
Rock
to Drake, man.
Marciano, Pimpaya, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were there with Onyx. Rock Ness was there. Rock Ness Monster was there.
Oh, Brooklyn.
Razzcats came out.
Oh wow.
Yes, West Coast legend.
Razzcats came out. Now, I want to say this. There's something I got to bring up about Razzcats. There was a situation that almost got a little hairy in the audience.
Mm.
It almost did. Now, mind you, it's an Onyx show. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know how it could have went, right?
Yeah.
Shoot him up, cut him up, blow it up, bang.
All right. Bro. Some of the most interesting people in the building displayed some of the most highest principles in real time.
Mm.
Right then at that moment. Now, do they belong to the temple? No. Are they part of something like this? No. But you know why they did, and I know why they did. Because they knew if they didn't, where it was going to go and where it could go.
Exactly.
They took the high road, bro. Mm. And when I say took the high road, I'm talking about, let me just say it. I'm talking about some real life killers said, listen, that's not in our character. Please calm down. I was like, wow. Brother, it was humbling to watch. It was humbling to watch. You know what I'm saying? And it was indicative of, in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science symbol of America, this rich man threw a party. And he invited the rich and he invited the underworld, the low people, low end of the social strata, right? Jesus was with the high society type. But when he got to the party, who did he sit down with? He sat down with the low society types.
Mm-hmm.
And the high society type said, yo, you just ruined your reputation. And Jesus said, a master never screens himself for reputation or fame. And then he said, yeah, the difference between you rich and these criminals, the criminals know they're sinners.
Mm-hmm.
You all have enough money and influence to hide your sin behind the tinsel coat of reputation.
Mm.
These criminals are rocking with me. They want to do right, not because they're scared of doing wrong, not because they're scared of you, not because they're scared of some hell or whatever. They want to do right simply because they've made the decision that they're tired of doing wrong. And in that sense, they're more advanced than you are. Mm. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just belong to an organization that cultivates those principles. I was just blessed to be able to see them in real time last night.
So would you say if you are not cultivating that part of you, then I mean, and you're saying you're representing Moorish teachings?
Yes.
Then that's not Moorish.
Then you're not practicing.
Right.
You know what you're doing?
What's that?
Playing dress up. Playing dress up. You just look the part. That's why the prophet said it's a sin for any people to violate the principles of their free national constitution and cling to the names and principles that deluded slavery. See? Many of us in the organization have given up the names to not the principles. In the street, we used to call it false flag.
Mm-hmm.
See?
That's true.
Gotcha. So to wrap it up, I mean, that's what it is. That's Moorish science right there.
That's Moorish science.
It's the character.
And all the other stuff that people would call Moorish science, all the high science and information about the chakras and astrology and all that. If we can't do the things that we just talked about on this show, none of that stuff's going to help you anyway.
That's a fact. It's not going to work.
It's not gonna help you anyway.
I always tell people your heart has to be lighter than a feather in order for things
brother.
to work with you.
Exactly.
Forgiveness of self.
Yes.
That's the first and foremost thing to do is forgive yourself.
Yes.
Work on yourself.
Work on yourself.
That's it.
That's right. None of that other stuff will help you. Our forefathers fell with all that stuff. See? We fell with all that stuff.
So to wrap it up, like the uniting of Asia, you know, that's what the prophet talks about, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, the way to unite Asia is for us to change we got to change our character first to unite with one another to then unite
first.
Yeah.
That's right.
Change
That's
our
right.
character first.
That's right.
And Reeve, to add on to what you said earlier about that situation, I think the writings on the wall where people can see where this country is going now. We're starting like it's a condition where they said, I believe Marcus Garvey said that a condition will force you to change. Either you change it or the position that you come under will force us to unite. I think people see the writing on the wall now.
Yes. Prophet Drew Ali said it, get ready before you're made to do so.
And it's happening. I see it.
Yeah.
Only we got some foolish Negroes out here who are arguing amongst themselves. That's the thing I don't respect.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't respect all this division of FBA, ADOS, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
In the day, we all in this together. Believe it or not.
Right. Right. That's fact. That's fact. That's fact.
Indeed,
that's a fact.
On that note, I'm gonna say, hey, thank y'all for showing up this evening. Really appreciate y'all. Thanks to the viewers. Hit that like, comment, share, subscribe.
And in studio in the future. We're coming.
Peace.